All right, let's talk about research. We're going to dive into some incredibly powerful AI tools that can literally shrink months of work down into just a few hours. Seriously, these are the secret weapons that most grad students just don't know about yet. And trust me, they are a total game changer. Okay, let me paint a picture for you. Does this look familiar? You've got a great research question, you hit up the usual search engines, and next thing you know, you're just drowning in a sea of papers. You've got 50 tabs open, you can't remember where you started, and you feel like you're getting nowhere. It's just so frustrating and a horribly inefficient way to work. Well, if you feel that way, you are definitely not alone. A whopping 90% of graduate students are not tapping into the power of these AI tools yet. But you know what? Today, that is going to change for you. So how do we fix this whole mess? Here's our game plan. We'll start with the struggle itself, because we've all been there. Then we'll get into the good stuff, tools for answers, tools for analysis, and tools for mapping out the research. And then we'll wrap it all up into a much, much smarter workflow. Every single researcher knows this feeling deep in their bones. You're supposed to be driving your literature review, but instead, it feels like the literature review is driving you right off a cliff. Well, we're here to flip that script and put you back in the driver's seat. First up, let's talk about the tools that are designed to just cut right through the noise. These are the platforms that get you direct answers and can automatically pull out the key info from those super dense papers, saving you from days of painstaking manual reading. Let's kick things off with a tool called Consensus. Now, you should think of this as your very first stop. Instead of just giving you a giant list of articles, it actually synthesizes them for you. You ask a question, and it tells you what the general consensus in the literature is. And here's why that's so incredibly important. Consensus gives you that 30,000-foot view before you dive into the weeds. It tells you immediately if your question is on the right track and what most researchers have already found. It's like having a compass for your research journey. Okay, so once Consensus has pointed you in the right direction, it's time to dig into the details. And for that, we have Elicit. This AI assistant doesn't just find papers for you. No, it actively reads them and pulls out the exact pieces of information you care about, like the methods, the outcomes, you name it. And this is where the real magic of Elicit happens. It takes all that messy, unstructured text from a dozen different PDFs and, poof, organizes it into a perfect, clean table you can actually use. Now, for anyone who's ever built a lit review matrix by hand, you know this is nothing short of a miracle. All right, so we can find papers and we can pull data from them. That's a huge step. But how do we know if these papers are actually any good? This next batch of tools is all about analyzing and critiquing the research you find. And the first tool here is called Cite. Because, look, it's not enough to just find an article. You've got to know how the academic world has reacted to it. Have other researchers backed up its claims, or have they challenged them? Think of Cite as your quality filter. It uses what it calls smart citations to show you, at a glance, how a paper has held up over time. Is it standing on solid ground, or is it a bit shaky? This is absolutely crucial for making sure your own work is built on a strong foundation. Next up, we've got SciSpace. And this one is kind of like a command center for your reading. It brings together search, summarization, and something that sounds like science fiction. It actually lets you have a conversation with your research papers. I'm serious. Imagine uploading 10 PDFs and then just asking them, hey, what were the main limitations you all talked about? SciSpace can find that and tell you. It turns your boring, static PDF library into a knowledge base you can actually talk to. It's wild. All right, for our last category of tools, we're going to change how we think about this completely. So instead of another list of articles, what if you could actually see the connections between papers in a visual, intuitive way? This amazing tool is called Research Rabbit, and it's built on a really simple but profound idea. Great research isn't found in a list, it's found in a network. So it creates these smart maps that let you see exactly how different papers are connected, helping you discover the most important authors and ideas organically. And it's so easy to use. You just feed it 1 or 2 seed papers, articles you already know are important, and just like that, Research Rabbit maps out everything they were built on and everything that came after them. You can understand the entire landscape of a topic in minutes, not weeks. So how does this all fit together? Well, these aren't just a bunch of separate gadgets. They actually form a brand new, powerful, and way more intelligent workflow that puts you, finally, back in control of your own research process. So here it is, your AI research toolkit in a nutshell. You use consensus to get the lay of the land. You turn to Elicit to do the heavy lifting of data extraction. You use Cite to check if a source is solid. You dive deep and talk to your papers with SciSpace. And you use Research Rabbit to see the big picture and find new paths. Look, the old way of doing research, that slow, manual grind, is over. It's done. You now have an entire toolkit at your fingertips that won't just speed up your work, but will lead to way deeper and more interesting insights. So the only question left is, which one are you going to try first?